Yo, what's up? Welcome to my channel. My name is Ndifon Ntui. On this channel I make sewing tutorials. I post new videos on Wednesdays and on Saturdays. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for watching my videos. If you're a beginner or if you're a person who's brushing up on your skill, I offer online courses. I'll be showing a demo how to make a jumpsuit for you to watch, so you can decide if it will be convenient for you to learn online. If you're interested, please send a Telegram message to the number that you can see on the screen. Alright, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you so much for supporting me, for liking my videos, sharing my videos, and all the other good things that you guys do for me. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video, but enjoy this video first. Alright, you're welcome to today's video. In this video I'm going to show you how to make an A-line dress that has a shirt collar attached to the neck. So to begin, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draft half of a bodice. So this is how you go about it. First of all, you come from the edge of the top of your paper and you're going to draw a line that's ½ inch away from the top. Okay, after you have done that, the next thing you're going to do, you're going to place your shoulder measurement. So the shoulder measurement I'm working with is 14 divided by 2 is 7. So you divide your shoulder by 2 and place it there. The next thing you are going to do is you're going to slope your shoulder by 1 inch. Okay, because the shoulder is not straight, it's slanted. You come from this green line that we have, you come down by 1 inch and you create the slope. The next thing we're going to do is you're going to place, now I've shown before I continue, I've shown a video where I've made a video where I showed the correct way to cut the neck for a shirt, a dress, whatever you want to make that has a collar attached to it. So the way the neckline should be cut if you intend to attach a collar to it, but a lot of people still find that difficult. So I'm going to give I would say I would give you another method, but I always prefer that if you want to make like, you know, clothes that you intend to sell, something solid, that you use the other method. But this method, if you're a beginner that's just coming in and you find that a bit challenging, then you can use this method to cut the shirt neck. Now, because the shoulder is a shoulder of 14 inches, I'm going to place a neckline width of 2.5 inches from the edge for my neckline width. So the width of the neck is 2.5 inches, and for the depth of the neckline in the front, I'm going to make it 2.5. Now, if you are making this for a person that has a shoulder, a lady that has a broad shoulder of around 16 inches and above, I'll say 16, 18, shoulders like that are a bit broad, I'm going to have increased this neckline to 3 inches. What I'm going to do is use 2.5 by 2.5 and make a slope, but I always prefer that you use the other method that I showed in how to make how to draft a shirt dress. So when you are done with that, the next thing we're going to place is the armhole. We're going to divide your armhole by 6 plus 1.5. The bust that we are working with here is a bust of 36. 36 divided by 6 is 6 plus 1.5 is 7.5. So I'm going to come down here by 7.5. Make a dot. Okay, so you see that. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place my bust measurement at my armhole to show that that's where the bust measurement that's how wide the bodice is supposed to be. The bust I'm working with is 36. 36 divided by 4 is 9. Alright, so I'm going to come here and I'm going to place 9 here. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to just come 2 inches after here and I'm going to make a mark. I'm going to also place 9 here. Alright, and then I'm going to add my allowance. Whatever allowance you want to keep, you add it here. For me, I'm adding 1.5 on both sides. Also keep your ½ inch of sewing allowance at the top here. Now I'm going to use this pattern to draft the back. The only difference between the back is at the armhole, the depth that you're going to use is half an inch as opposed to the 2.5 that I used, and the armhole is going to come from here straight down. It will not slope in to the straight line that I have. If you don't know how to draft the bodice at all, go and see my video on how to draft the bodice. Alright, so now before we move on to using the patterns to cut our fabric, this line that we have here, that's the armhole line. I want you to extend it. Alright, so now it's time to cut the A-line. I have laid the fabric on my table. Now normally when I cut stuff that are not flayed, we fold them like this on a straight fold, okay, where you just make a fold. But what I want you to do is I want you to cut it on the bias, meaning that what you're going to do is this: you lay it flat on your surface, on whatever surface you are working on, then you pick up the end, okay, so the edge of one side of your fabric, and you're going to lay it diagonally. So you see there's a diagonal line running from there all the way down. Straighten it out. Alright, after you have done this, the next thing you're going to do, you're going to take the pattern for the front and place it on top of your fabric, okay? So you lift it as high as you can until you get to the point where you start moving out of the fabric. Once you are getting close to that point, you stop, okay, so that you'll have a complete bodice. And then the next thing you do is you're going to decide what length you want for your top, and you're going to start marking it from the shoulder down. So mind you, we stopped halfway here. We're going to have to extend this to the bottom. Now to be able to do that, the top length I want to work with is 34, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come from the shoulder, I'm going to come down to 34 inches. Hope the camera is picking it up. This is where 34 inches is, and I'm going to make a mark, okay? And then I'm going to, alright, now when you've moved your tape around to a point where you're starting to bend like this, it's not too good to continue marking. If not, you end up making it too short on the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 8 inches from 34 inches. The reason why it's 8 inches is the distance from here, okay, distance from here, that's the shoulder, to this point. You see this point where I told you to mark your armhole line to extend this. That's so that you can measure up easily. So from the shoulder slope to this point is 8 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 8 inches from 34. So 34 minus 8 inches gives us 26. So I'm going to come to the edge over here and I'm going to make a mark at 26 inches. Alright, okay, I'm going to move down a bit. Alright, make a mark there. Alright, so you see, if I was following this line here where I slanted my tape a bit much, you see that here it's already appearing a bit shorter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now connect all my lines together. So with that, I have cut out the front. The next step is for you to repeat this process on the pattern that is meant for the back. So I'm going to do that, and after that I'm going to meet you on the sewing machine so that we can start creating a neckline and all of that. Alright, so the first part we're going to work on is the front. So what I want you to do is I want you to place your front on the fold just like we cut it, and I want you to iron the edge here very well so that you get the perfect straight line running down the center of the front, okay? So go and iron that and come back for the next step. Alright, so now I have ironed the front like I said I would. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to cut a piece of fabric. You can cut from the same fabric or you can make it a contrasting color like what I have done here. I'm going to iron gum stay onto this fabric. So if you have non-woven fusible interfacing, iron it onto this fabric. The fabric was cut at 15 inches by 9 inches, so it is 9 inches across and 15 inches long. Alright, so now the next thing I'm going to do after I have ironed this piece, so on the wrong side here I've ironed on my gum stay. This is the correct side of the fabric. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay the front of my front, so the correct side of the front, I'm going to lay it flat like I'm trying to do now. Okay, when you have laid it flat, the next thing we're going to do is I want you to lay it. You see, after I ironed my gum stay, I also folded this in half and ironed it so that I have that line running down the center. I'll place the front side of my white fabric facing the front side of the Ankara fabric I have underneath, and then I'm going to push it up. At this point, I'll push it up by 1 inch. You can see the white is 1 inch higher than the fabric. And then next thing I will do, I will come to this point here. So I'm basically placing the crease I have, that's the line I have running down the center of the white, on top of the line I have running on my fabric. So with that done, I'm going to come to my center line, hold both of them together so that my needle lands on the points that I want. Okay, when I'm in place, I lock in my needle. As you can see, I'm giving an allowance of 1.5 inches away from the bottom. Alright, when I've done this, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch from here. I'll stitch 0.7 inches away from the center line. Okay, then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch across the other way, 0.75. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut down the center of my line. As I'm cutting this, I'm cutting both the fabric and the white. So I'm going to cut here. When I get to the end of my line, I'm going to make a notch running towards the edges like so. Alright, then I'm going to turn it inside out, take it to my ironing table and iron it. Alright, after I have ironed it neatly like I have, I'm going to lay these parts flat like so, and I'm going to iron 1/2 inch at the edge here from top to bottom. I'm going to iron it 1/2 inch flat. Alright, now the next thing I'm going to do, you can see before I show you, I've folded here and I've folded here in by 1/2 inch. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to collapse this part like so, okay, and I'm going to collapse it again like so and iron it. Okay, I'm going to do that for this part, and I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. Alright, so you can see I have ironed both of them like I said I would. The next step is to stitch them. Now in order to stitch it, we'll turn to the front. Here you can see what you've done. Now because you have folded it underneath, once you run a stitch up here, it's going to automatically hold the folded fabric underneath. Alright, so now we have our placket. With that, we've created the placket where we would have our buttonholes and our buttons for our dress. So the next thing we're going to do, you can chop off the front, the excess on your white. Alright, I'm going to give this a good ironing so that everything is flat and smooth, and then I'll be back. Alright, so after we have done all of this and ironed this, the next step is to join the front to our back. So you take the front of your back, make it face the front of your front, and I'm going to join the shoulders together. Alright, after joining both sides of the shoulder, the next step is to create the collar that we are going to add onto here. So before you go on to cut your collar, make sure to measure your neckline from here all the way around. All the way around to the other side like that. Make sure to do that and use that to cut your collar. I have made a comprehensive video on how to make a shirt collar before. Go and check out that video on Ndifon, how to make a shirt collar, and to show you step by step how to cut it, stitch it and everything. I will show you how I add it onto the shirt, but for the process on how to build the collar, the video that I just recommended will show you how to build collars like that. So let me go and do that, not to waste any of your time, and I'll be back so that we plant it up on the neckline. Alright, so now the next thing I'm going to do is to attach the collar that I have built onto the body. So this part here that's hanging loose, I'm going to simply place it like so, and I'm going to stitch from here all the way across. so now the next step after you fix your collar is simply just to fix both of your sleeves. If you don't know how to draft the sleeve, I have a video on how to draft the sleeve. Go and do that. So I've already cut my sleeves, so it's just for me to install them here, which is what I'm going to do now. Alright, so the next step after attaching the collar is to simply join the body starting from the sleeve. So you start from the sleeve and then you run down into the body. Alright, after you've stitched down the side starting from the sleeve, make sure to cut all your thread. The last thing I'm going to do is to simply hem the bottom of the dress. If you've watched this far, thank you for watching the video. After I hem the bottom, I'm done. Please make sure to like the video if you like the video. It really helps out. I'll see you in the next video. Have a lovely day. Let me go ahead to hem.